One misconception which most people have is that scholarships are something which you have to apply beforehand. The most of the scholarships which US universities have, they're not for Indians. I first was not part of Yocket. I was part of some other consultancy whom I don't want to name. So I joined them thinking that they were the best, and then later on realized that they weren't really that helpful. It doesn't matter like if your university is supporting you or you need to do an internship.
So I'm just going to introduce Rishikesh here. He's gotten into some of the top universities, and I think he's also gotten a scholarship. So he has been a star admit for fall 2023, and his profile has been amazing. As I mentioned, he's a star fall 23 admit. Hi everyone, welcome to the session that we have.
Thank you so much.
So right from the day that you actually thought that, listen, I'm going to study abroad, right from that day till now, what was your journey like?
I did like coding, but I still didn't know what I wanted to do. When I started off in my second year, I got into machine learning, and then I realized, okay, so machine learning is what I would love to do, and that's what I was passionate about. And then I was looking for opportunities here and there, and then I did few internships. The whole of third year, I spent preparing myself for this whole application. So because if I had to get into fall 2023, I had to start by 2022.
Can you tell us about the great admits that you've gotten, the universities that you've gotten into, and for the course?
I got into MS in machine learning. I got into Stevens. That was my safety school. And then my next admit was UT Dallas. And then I got into Indiana University Bloomington for their MS in data science program. Then a university which most of you have already heard about, I guess, Arizona State University. I got into their Master of Science in Software Engineering program. Then I got into Penn State for their MS in Data Analytics program. Then comes my top two admits. I think my second best would be NYU, where I got into MS in Computer Science program, and USC, University of Southern California, where I got into their MS in Computer Science program with specialization in AI.
So can you help us with your profile? What is an admit cracking profile? So for these great universities, for NYU, which is one of the top schools, and even US, and what did you do in order to bridge that gap between your profile and an admit cracking profile, as we like to call it?
I just started with GRE and IELTS because I think that's what most of them talk about. So I have a GRE score of 318 with 166 in quants, and also have to mention that AWA score does matter, and I have 5 out of 6 in AWA. So I think that's a very huge factor for getting admits. I have a standing GPA of 9.82. I have done around 5 to 6 internships right from second year till my final year.
Was there any special preparation that went into making sure that you're getting one scholarship that you had your mind for?
One thing which I had since second year was to maintain a high GPA. My 9.8 did stand out comparing to other students. So that is just one thing which US universities love. That is the extracurricular activities which you do. One misconception which most people have is that scholarships are something which you have to apply beforehand. The most of the scholarships which US universities have, they're not for Indians.
What are some things that Yocket maybe helped out with?
This might sound negative, but I first was not part of Yocket. I was part of some other consultancy whom I don't want to name. The biggest issue which I had with them was that, so I joined them thinking that they were the best, and then later on realized that they weren't really that helpful. They never touched the top 20 universities, or they don't go into the Ivies. Like that's when I came across Yocket, where and then I spoke to a person from Yocket, and then she started off by saying that, okay, so for your profile we need to look into Ivies and the other top 20 schools. I think that in itself was really motivating, because I realized that if the consultancy is pushing you towards the top 20, then you should go for it. In other consultancies, they have one person assigned to you, and that person, if they're not responding, it's just you're lost. But in Yocket, they have a dedicated team of 7 to 8 people. There's this primary consultant, like a counselor, senior counselor, financial advisor. There's like a proper team, and Yocket being really fast also a huge backbone of my application cycle. I think that's why I still support Yocket a lot.
So I'm so glad and I'm so happy that your journey with Yocket has been so great. Now, on the same note, thank you so much, Rishikesh, for actually coming down and talking to people here. It was such an amazing session, and I personally got to learn so much.
Thank you so much for having me here.
And after talking to all these students and understanding the various boulders in their journey, we created Yocket Premium. And before we part, studying abroad is not a rocket science. It is Yocket science. So select your preferred choice of plan and get started today.